This is the Retirement Solution Podcast with financial advisor Jon Hicks, founder of Hagan Capital.
It's a trap, John. It's a trap. They're trapping us. We might be trapping ourselves.
Why does that sound like Kramer from Seinfeld? It's a trap, Jerry. It's a trap. No, it's Costanza, right? It's George. George does that. Actually, both of them did that. They did a lot of yelling in that show.
There was a lot of yelling in that show.
I miss it. I'm not going to lie to you. I miss the yelling. I do.
Maybe we're not doing enough yelling when we talk about the things that we're being sucked into the vortex. Keep working more, work harder, work longer.
The suck. It sucks your soul out working. And you know what? Not everyone, they don't know how to retire. That is probably one of the biggest things I run into every day. People don't know how to retire. They don't know how to chill out. That's literally why you have a job.
That's literally why you are here.
The soul suck.
To help us.
They just want to sit at their cubicle and play on their keyboard.
Have you ever done
mess with their mouse?
You have a home office. The home office to me is the worst part of it. I will literally be sitting, if I work from home on any given day, it'll be 8 o'clock at night and I'm still sitting there just going at it because you have no breaking point.
Oh, I always have a breaking point when I think, I haven't changed out the laundry. Oh, those dishes aren't going to do themselves. Oh, there's a dog yelling, barking crazily at the front door because the FedEx guy or the UPS guy, the lawn guy or the neighbor's lawn guy. Yeah, it seemed like I never get as much done. So I think I just have to work that much more.
That's the tipping point. See, there's a difference between the breaking point and the tipping point. By the way, this is Jon Hicks, founder of Hagan Capital, here to share with you some insight onto how to get yourself out of the trap that is working just one more year that so many people fall victim to. And you give your time to everybody else. You give your time to your employer or your employees. You give your time to everybody else except for yourself, your spouse, your kids, your grandkids. So let's talk about how to do better in this space, John, because so many people that feel this way, they've clearly saved enough money for retirement. You talk to people all the time. They've saved $3, $4, $5 million. They say to themselves, I'm going to work just one more year. They might have reasons like, well, my job gives me purpose and identity. And that's real. If you don't know what you're retiring to, that's a real thing. Some are afraid of becoming bored in retirement. They want to take advantage of the health insurance rather than Medicare. If you're not 65 yet, again, reasonable. You don't mind the extra income. Again, these all sound like logical arguments to make as to why you're going to work one more year. But before you know it, one more year has turned into 10. Now you're 70. You haven't retired yet. How do you help somebody get out of the time trap?
Well, the biggest thing is to recognize why we're doing it, right? It's procrastination. So, one of the things that I've said forever and ever is that it's not what we're retiring from, because most people don't hate their jobs. They really don't hate it, but they don't know what to do next. So it's not what we're retiring from, it's what we're retiring to. And they haven't really put in enough thought or they haven't had enough experience in that, right? Just think about it. What does the average of us do? We get out of school, and we go find that job, or maybe we get, a degree or whatever, and then we go get that job. And whether it's one job that we've had our whole career or several, all we know to do from the time we're like in our 20s is work, right? And in order to climb the ladder or to increase our income so we can pay for the spouse and pay for the kids and pay for the grandkids and pay off the house and get the cars we like and keep up with the Joneses, all of that comes in, and we're just like, man, we get to this point in time where late 50s, early 60s, and it's just like, well, I didn't get that much time to play a ton of golf. I don't even know if I want to play that much golf. It's hot outside. There's bugs out there. The mosquitoes eat me up. I hate no-see-ums or whatever they call those things, chiggers, whatever it is, that just, eat your feet up.
The worst.
And they're just like, I don't know what I want to do. I would love to have a boat, but I hear they're expensive. And not only that, I never learned how to drive a boat, or I'm not even around water. Anyway, the point is, they always have these excuses, but they really never get to have the dreams. And even the people that do have the good dreams, they're hesitant, right? Because you made the good point. Like the two big things that I run into all the time is someone says, John, I don't know what I would do if I just don't have the easy answer. Hey, I do this for a living. I'm an analyst. I am a physician. I am a dentist. I am a small business owner, whatever it is. They don't know how to identify. It's like, I'm retired. Ooh, that almost like it's a pain. It's like someone just stung them, because that doesn't feel right to them. They don't know how to do that, right? The other thing is true boredom. They don't know what to do with their time. But here's what I would say. There's an easy way to get out of this, and it doesn't involve a whole bunch of extra work, right? The biggest thing is to understand is what would give you purpose. That is what we have to seek to get.
Okay.
purpose in the next phase, right? And what I have typically done for folks, most of the people that I talk to by the time they're 60, 62, 63, and they're thinking about it, I have them look at their PTO. How much extra vacation time have they not used? Because that is even a bigger ripoff of our lives, right? Mm-hmm. I talk to people all the time. John, I've got basically 3 months of vacation I didn't take. I'm like, so you worked like 51 and a half, weeks a year for that many years. Are you kidding me? No wonder you don't know what to do. Maybe you're a workaholic, or maybe you just couldn't get the time off, or maybe you're putting the kids through college. I get it. But what I want you to do is I want you to consider taking, if you're in that situation, take 2 full weeks, 2 full weeks, pay time off, whether it's vacation time, healthcare, whatever it is, time off. And I want you to not look at a phone, not check an email, not do anything. And I want you to tell your supervisor, your boss, or your employees, hey, this is what I'm doing. And what I want you to do is to see what it's like to not have to set an alarm clock. I want you to figure out what you would do with your time. Because some people, and I don't understand this, but I talk to people all the time that don't want to travel, Heather.
Yeah.
Like that to me is my number one.
Yeah,
I want to see other parts of the world and how people live. I'm not talking like stay at the Four Seasons and the Ritz-Carlton and be lavishly dined or always be on cruise ships.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. How dare
you? There's
you?
nothing in the world wrong with that. But I just like to go like the little pub, in some little small place and see where the locals go and, have the beef stew like they do and just enjoy that, right? Mm-hmm. I know that Kenny Chesney always sings songs about just sitting on the beach with his toes in the sand, having a drink and just laughing about it, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes that sounds great, but that only goes so long. So the biggest thing, though, is take 2 weeks. Find out, were you bored out of your mind? Did you find something to do? Because what I have typically found is it is a really good way to find out if your purpose is strong enough, right? If you play 4 rounds of golf and you go out and do a little bit of fishing and you're like, oh my gosh, that was horrible. I could never play 3 rounds of golf ever again in my life. Or I forgot how many mosquitoes are out on the lake, this time of year. Yeah. Or, when I didn't have something to do, my lovely, wonderful, gorgeous spouse was always telling me something I needed to be doing, and that wasn't fun. So, but it gives you an idea to kind of reshuffle. It's also a good time to look at what are the volunteer things that might be in your community? What are church things that you've always thought you might want to do? Maybe it's a men or a woman's a Bible study or whatever it is. Find out ways that you can get involved that you haven't either chosen to or didn't think you had time to do, and use that 2 weeks to do some of that. It doesn't mean just gallivant around the country, right? Although I have a ton of clients that they want an RV, right? Yeah. And they want to go travel the United States. They think it's great. They want to take it all the way from Kentucky, all the way down to Florida, come all the way back up, go all the way through Canada, and see if they can't go from Canada all the way to Alaska. I would never in my life ever want to do that. Ever. But there are some of those guys out there that want to be ice road truckers. That's fine, but you got to figure that out, right? So the biggest thing you can do is actually just give it a shot. Now, that's what I call test driving retirement. Okay. Because if you test drive retirement, you're going to find out real quickly, do you have a good plan or not? Because if it's going to be miserable, guys, it's probably not time for you to go yet, right? My job is not to tell you to go get retired, is to make sure that when you do retire, you're doing the things you want, when you want, with who you want, and making sure you have enough money to do it, right? Those are the big 4 things. Okay. So if we do that correctly, it'll be good. Now, one of the other things that we're going to want to look at and think about on how do we get retired, you have to look at the healthcare costs, right? Especially if you retire before 65. If you retire before 65, then one of the biggest issues that people have is Medicare hadn't kicked in. And those costs, unfortunately, especially if you have a spouse, that's also on healthcare with you, it gets kind of expensive. You want to make sure you do have enough money. And even if you have tons of money, you want to make sure you're conditioning yourself for that, right? Because that's kind of a big deal. Yeah. And I would also make sure, and this is kind of the last piece of the puzzle, you want to set a deadline, right? This happened to my dad, and this is kind of why I come at this, with a little bit of understanding. My dad always said, 1 more year, 1 more year, 1 more year. Yeah. And he pushed it all the way out to where he was going to retire at age 70. Well, if you've heard the story before, he had a stroke at age 69. And so because of that, he never got to retire the way that my mother would have loved for them to retire. They never got to travel. After his stroke, he was impaired, was not able to no longer run his 2 law offices, but at the same time had to let all of the staff go, had to wind down cases, and that was an unbelievable amount of stress. Could he have avoided that by planning better? 100%, but he was a procrastinator. 1 more year, 1 more year. And he got to the point to where there were no more years. So my mom didn't get to travel. Unfortunately, because of his impairment, they had to spend about $500,000 of in-home care for him over the next 8 or 9 years that he lived before he did pass away. And they didn't get to have the retirement they wanted at all. And unfortunately, and this is not a hard-hearted thing for me to say, it was all because of procrastination and lack of a real plan. No matter how many times I said, Dad, you don't need the money, man. Like, if you're doing it because you like it, that's fine. But at least do little mini sabbaticals. Just do a 3 or 4 week off. Don't take any new cases, and take 3 or 4 weeks off. Go with mom, go see Ireland. He always wanted to do that. He had family from Germany from forever ago. He never went over there, never got to see, I think, after he was out of the military. Yeah. And he had all kinds of cousins all over the United States that he never really got to visit, all because procrastination, which unfortunately, procrastination will kill the best ideas and dreams we'll ever have. So the main thing to do is, if you're getting to that point where you're thinking about it, take a little mini break, test drive retirement, 2 to 3 weeks, right? Who cares if you don't never get that money on the back end because you actually used it? You're finding out what every day might be like for the rest of your retired life. That is super important. Most people don't get that opportunity. In other countries, they never get that opportunity. Take advantage of being in America this day and age. It is awesome what we have the opportunity to do. And if you want a second opinion, what can you do? What other ideas? Guys, this is one of my favorite things, helping people brainstorm. What could you really do with your time? What do you really enjoy? Because those things, that to me, that's the most fulfilling that my day gets, is helping someone dream a little differently than they thought was capable of, because the money is fine. We just got to get their mindset in the right place too.
Well, and to your point, the work you do at J. Hagan Capital, it's so much more than the money when it comes to building a retirement plan. It is thinking about all of these other things that are involved for our mental health, and our health is our wealth in so many ways, physically and mentally. And so putting it all together in a plan to help you avoid this one more year trap is the goal of Jon and his team at J. Hagan Capital. Let's start the conversation helping you figure out a plan of your own. We've got links posted in the show notes. You can just click there to start the conversation with Jon and his team, or visit us anytime, retirementsolutionshow.com. If you find yourself saying over and over again, just one more year, it's that whole thing about how when this happens, I will be happy. It's the same thing for your retirement plan. Don't fall to this trap. Let's get to work helping you understand where you are right now, where you're headed, and building a plan to help you reach the goals you have for the years ahead. Again, it's retirementsolutionshow.com.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with Jon Hicks. Begin the conversation about your savings plan with Jon and the team at J. Hagan Capital by visiting retirementsolutionradio.com. Be sure to listen to Jon's radio show, The Retirement Solution, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. on News Radio 840 WHAS.
J. Hagan Capital Incorporated is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Hagan Capital Incorporated is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Incorporated is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency, and does not provide legal or tax advice. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through J. Hagan Capital, LLC, NPN number 1882794.